Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So on day 17 of Kubernetes series, today we are going to focus another important concept in Kubernetes, which is Kubernetes volume. And we will see what is volume and why we should use volumes and why data persistent matter in Kubernetes. So all those things basically we are going to cover. So this video is going to be more introductory, and we will also see a simple demonstration where we will see a life cycle or container. So why we need a volumes. So in this diagram, basically I have two container 1 and container 2. And as we know, containers are temporary or short-lived, or we can say it is ephemeral in nature. Because when we create a Kubernetes container, they basically lived for a short duration. And in that duration, if we are going to write or create any file inside the containers, and suppose if that container 1 is crashed, then whatever the data we have written here or created the files as part of container 1, that will be gone. Because what Kubernetes does basically, it will create a replacement, or it will basically create a new container for us. So whatever we will have in existing containers, all the data will be lost. So that's the nature of containers. So we can't do anything here. So that's why we need to use a volume, because if the container 1 crash, and suppose here we have user profile and blog post files, these files will also be lost, because Kubernetes will create another container, which is container 2, and in this container we will not be able to see those files which we have created in container 1, because they lived shortly, or I would say they are temporary basically. So ideally we should not store any data inside a containers. That's why we need volumes. So we are going to see in demonstration as well how basically containers are in ephemeral in nature, and why we should create a volume as well. Another example here I have defined. So we can say, in other words, containers are like our coffee cup. So we can drink coffee and we just throw them. But notebooks are our permanent, because whatever the data or text we are going to write on that will be persist. Like that will be always available. So if you can see here what happened in real time, basically when we create a containers write some data, and that data basically we store in volume. So if in case this particular container is getting crashed, or maybe it's deleted or replaced, then the new containers will be created, and the volume where we have written a data, the previous container where it wrote the data, that data will be available as part of new container as well. So this process is called data persist. So in this case we are not losing any data. Whatever the files or data we have created as part of container 1, same data we can get when new containers or the replacement containers will be created. So this process is called data persistent. Now we will see the roles of Kubernetes volume, why we need a volume. So as we discussed in previous slides, the requirement or the benefits of volumes. So all these things basically I have defined here. Like Kubernetes volumes are the notebooks for your containers, because they persist your data. They are a way to attach a piece of storage outside the containers. So whatever the data we are going to store in volumes, that volume will not be a part of containers life cycle. That will be a separate or external file system, maybe, or maybe if we are using any cloud providers, so we can use their storage systems as well. So it means in simple, the volume will be external, it will not be a part of our container life cycles. That's why whenever the container deleted or created, we will always get a volume. So basically we are going to attach external volume with our containers. It could be container 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever containers. So we are simply attaching, or in Kubernetes terms we call this mount. So we are simply mounting the external web volumes with our Kubernetes containers. So our data will be persist, and we will do whatever we want. So these are the benefits of Kubernetes volumes. So let's do a simple demonstration about the life cycle of containers and why we should use a volumes. Okay, let me go to my GitHub repo and I will go to day 17 folders. So here I have already created a readme.md files where basically we are going to see a life cycle of Kubernetes demonstration, sorry, Kubernetes containers. So if you can see here, this is a very simple YAML file. So we are just going to create a container or pod with the name of my app. And this is the image which we are using busybox container. Sorry, not this. This is the name of image. Sorry, container. And this is the image name busybox colon latest. And this is the command which basically we are going to execute inside a containers. So what we will see, basically we will create a pod and we will create a sample file on this. Then what we will do, we will delete this pod and we will recreate a new pod. Then we will see whatever the files we have created in previous pod, still we are able to see that particular file or we lost that file. So that's what we are going to see in demonstration as well. So let me do one thing, let me copy the content and here let me create a sample file demo.ml. Okay, so now let me apply this file. Okay, let's verify the pod kubectl get pods. So it is created a pod, or it's still is creating. So it's the pod name will be my app. Now what we will do, we will go inside this application pod and we will create a one sample file. So if I will rerun it, so the container status is running now. So now I will go inside the my pod container. So kubectl -it and container name which is my -app and -sh. Sorry, here is one more space. Okay, so we are inside our my app containers. So if I do ls here, we can see the file system of Linux. So what we will do, we will go to home directory and here we will create a text file. So let me type demo.txt. So let me provide some content here. This is a sample, no sorry, this is a demo file. Okay, okay, so if I'll do ls here, sorry, ls, so we can see a file called demo.txt which we have created under the home folder, right? Now what I will do, I will delete this container and let's see if we are still able to see the file which we have created as part of my app container. So what I will do, I will exit from this terminal and I will delete this pod, kubectl delete pod and pod name which is my-app. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, so we can see the pod my-app is deleted. Now let's quickly verify it. kubectl get pods. Okay, the typo issue. kubectl get pods. So we don't have any resources in default namespace. Now what I will do, I will again apply kubectl apply -f and file name. So again it will create a new container with the name of my app. So if I will verify it, kubectl get pods. So we have again created a new pod, my app. Now I will again go back inside this container and let's see if we are still able to see the files which we have created. So if I'll go to kubectl exit -it and pod name, which is my app, and --sh. So again I will do ls. So we have created a file inside home directory. So let me go to home directory. Now if I will do ls here, so we cannot see that file demo.txt which we have created. So this is that's why basically we need a volumes where our data will be persist, because the containers are temporary. They created, they deleted, like short-lived basically. So we need some kind of system where the containers will be created, and again they create what the data which we are creating as part of container, that data should be available, and like in whatever case the data should not be lost. So for that purpose generally we use a Kubernetes volumes. So there are different volume types available in Kubernetes that we will see in upcoming videos. So that's all for today. See you in next video. Thank you so much.